Hollywood marriages don't last. But what if I told you that Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross came terrifyingly close to losing everything long before they became one of Hollywood's strongest couples? At 81, Sam Elliott has finally broken his silence, revealing the shocking truth about the battles they fought behind closed doors, the moment that nearly tore them apart, and the unexpected twist that saved their marriage. This is the side of their love story no one ever dared to tell. From the very first moment Sam Elliott stepped into Hollywood, audiences were captivated by more than just his rugged good looks. His deep, resonant voice, the kind that seems to carry wisdom and authority in every word, combined with his signature mustache, made him stand out in a city full of aspiring actors. But behind that iconic exterior was a story far more human, far more tender, a story of love, patience, and quiet resilience that would unfold over decades. Few know that the man we associate with westerns and stoic heroism harbored a heart capable of one of Hollywood's most enduring romances. Before Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross became one of the industry's most admired couples. Their journeys were separate, yet strangely intertwined. Their paths crossed in the late 1960s and early 1970s, but only fleetingly. Both were young in their careers, navigating the competitive world of film, auditioning for roles, and learning how to survive in an industry that can be as unforgiving as it is glamorous. Katharine was already making waves with unforgettable performances in The Graduate and Butch Cassidy and The Sundance Kid, establishing herself as a talented and sought-after actress. Sam, on the other hand, was still finding his footing, taking small roles, and dreaming big, his ambition often outweighing the modest size of his paycheck, even though they were in the same orbit professionally. Their worlds didn't collide in any meaningful way at first. Sam admired Katharine from afar, drawn not just to her talent, but also to the quiet grace she carried amidst the chaos of Hollywood life. It was a silent admiration, unspoken, yet persistent, the kind that plants the seeds for a connection that time cannot easily erode. Their interactions were brief, polite, professional, a handshake here, a shared scene there, but always leaving a lingering sense of, what if? Fate, however, has its own timing, and it often waits patiently for the perfect moment. That moment finally arrived in 1978, when the two were cast together in the film The Legacy. Working closely on this project forced them out of the periphery and into the same space, giving them the chance to really see each other, not as celebrities, not as actors in a professional setting, but as people. Something clicked. Something shifted. The spark that had been simmering beneath the surface for years suddenly ignited. The chemistry they had never fully realized in earlier encounters became impossible to ignore. It was no longer a fleeting moment. It was the beginning of a story that would shape the rest of their lives. Their connection during The Legacy wasn't the kind of love story Hollywood screams about in tabloids. There were no dramatic declarations or overnight confessions. Instead, it was quiet, intentional, and surprisingly ordinary in its foundation, which perhaps explains why it endured. They talked, laughed, and discovered a shared understanding of life, work, and ambition. Both were committed to their craft, both knew the loneliness of the actor's journey, and both recognized in the other a companion who could truly understand the highs and lows of their chosen world. This meeting was more than just a professional crossing of paths. It was destiny finally answering its own call. In that pivotal moment, Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross began a love story that was patient, deliberate, and resilient, one that would eventually withstand the pressures of fame, long distances, and decades in the public eye. What started as admiration from afar had transformed into a partnership built on respect, mutual support, and a profound understanding of one another, a love story that would quietly, powerfully, and enduringly define their lives. In a world where relationships often crumble under the relentless glare of fame, Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross created something astonishingly rare. Their partnership was not flashy, nor was it built for the cameras. It was quiet, deliberate, and grounded in deep respect. Unlike many Hollywood couples whose love stories become fodder for tabloids, theirs thrived on communication, patience, and a steadfast commitment to one another. It was a love defined not by grand gestures or red carpet appearances, but by everyday choices and shared understanding. When they married in 1984, the question on everyone's mind was simple: how can two actors, constantly traveling, constantly immersed in demanding careers, maintain a marriage that lasts? In an industry notorious for breaking even the strongest bonds, the odds seemed stacked against them. Yet Sam Elliott had a simple answer, a philosophy he would repeat throughout interviews over the years: you work at it. You choose each other every day. That choice was not abstract or poetic. It was practical, intentional, and unwavering. Their careers were demanding. Long shoots could stretch for months. Travel often separated them across states or even countries. Tight schedules and the endless pressure to perform could have easily created tension, resentment, or neglect. Yet they refused to let the Hollywood machine dictate the rhythm of their relationship. Instead, they created their own rules, consciously building a life where love and partnership remained the foundation. They didn't chase publicity. They didn't allow themselves to be defined by gossip columns or celebrity profiles. Home was sacred, a space where they could nurture not only their marriage but their individual passions. Creativity was encouraged, celebrated even, but it never came at the expense of family or emotional intimacy. Their home was a sanctuary, a place where two driven artists could recharge, reconnect, and support each other without outside interference. Katharine Ross continued to pursue roles that challenged and inspired her, carefully selecting projects that resonated with her own artistic sensibilities rather than those that might simply attract attention. Sam Elliott, meanwhile, slowly but steadily became an American icon of Western films and television, his voice and presence becoming synonymous with rugged integrity and quiet strength. Yet in the midst of their rising careers, they never allowed professional ambitions to become a wedge between them. They celebrated each other's successes, shared each other's burdens, and always made time for the small, seemingly mundane gestures that sustain a long-lasting relationship: meals together, thoughtful conversations, and the simple comfort of being present. In a world where Hollywood marriages often falter under the weight of ambition, travel, and fame, Sam and Katharine's story stands out. They found a rhythm that worked for them, a balance between professional fulfillment and personal connection. Their marriage became a model of mutual respect and unwavering support, showing that love in Hollywood doesn't have to be fleeting, dramatic, or performative. Instead, it can be patient, resilient, and profoundly enduring, built on the simple, daily choice to prioritize each other above everything else. Every marriage has its challenges, but when you live in the glaring spotlight of Hollywood, those challenges can multiply exponentially. For Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross, the pressures of fame weren't just about public scrutiny. They were about the very real struggles of building a life together, while constantly being pulled in different directions. Yet, through it all, the couple chose to handle their difficulties with quiet strength, keeping most of their personal struggles private. Unlike many celebrity relationships, theirs was not fodder for tabloids or public speculation. Instead, they focused on one fundamental principle: love doesn't need an audience to survive. It only needs commitment. One of the most persistent challenges they faced was the most basic yet difficult: time. Time apart. Time spent waiting for the other to return from a grueling shoot. Time consumed by long flights, back-to-back projects, and endless commitments. Time that could easily erode intimacy if not carefully managed. In Hollywood, the demands of a career can make it feel as though there simply aren't enough hours in the day to nurture a marriage. For Sam and Katharine, this was an obstacle they had to navigate deliberately. They knew that maintaining emotional presence wasn't about grand gestures. It was about small, consistent choices. Even across long distances, patience and understanding became the backbone of their relationship. Sam often spoke about how these qualities kept them grounded. When one of them worked long hours on a demanding film set, the other would offer support rather than resentment. When the pressure of a career required space and focus, neither saw it as abandonment. Instead, it was a temporary adjustment, a mutual understanding that each person's dreams and responsibilities were equally important. It was this delicate balance between individuality and partnership that allowed their love to remain strong, even when life seemed chaotic. Like any couple, Sam and Katharine faced seasons that tested their communication and commitment. Misunderstandings happened. Tensions rose. Moments of frustration were inevitable. But rather than letting these moments define their relationship, they leaned into honesty and dialogue. They talked through problems instead of ignoring them. They adjusted expectations instead of demanding change. They grew not only as individuals but also as partners. Every challenge became an opportunity to strengthen the foundation of their marriage, proving that love is not static but evolves through effort, patience, and care. The Hollywood imagination often frames celebrity marriages as dramatic, glamorous or doomed, full of public scandals and fleeting romance. But the reality of Sam and Katharine's story is far simpler and far more powerful. Their love wasn't about spectacle or public approval. It was about consistency, loyalty, and choice. They stayed together not because it was easy, but because they never stopped choosing each other, day after day, even when life grew complicated or uncertain. In the end, that is what makes their story so inspiring. Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross didn't rely on headlines, awards, or fan adoration to define their love. They built something enduring through patience, understanding, and a quiet commitment to one another. It's a lesson that resonates far beyond Hollywood, a reminder that real love is tested in private, strengthened through struggle, and sustained by the simple, profound decision to stay by someone's side, no matter what. As Sam Elliott's career reached new heights in his later years, the roles he chose and the recognition he earned only underscored the enduring strength of his relationship with Katharine Ross. From the gritty intensity of Tombstone to the dark humor of The Big Lebowski and the deeply emotional layers of A Star Is Born, Sam's professional achievements could have easily shifted focus away from personal life. Yet, paradoxically, his rising fame didn't create distance between him and Katharine. It strengthened the bond they had carefully nurtured for decades. Success for them was never a wedge. It became a shared celebration, a testament to how two people could grow together even amid the chaos of Hollywood. Katharine, with her gentle strength and unwavering presence, became the calm at the center of Sam's whirlwind of fame. No matter the pressures of auditions, premieres, or media scrutiny, she provided a grounding force that reminded him of what truly mattered. In turn, Sam offered Katharine the same stability, the same steadying influence, and the same quiet encouragement. They became each other's compass, always pointing back toward home and the shared life they cherished beyond the glare of the spotlight. This mutual support was not just comforting, it was transformative. It allowed them to pursue their careers with confidence, knowing that their personal lives were anchored in trust, love, and shared values. Their professional collaborations also highlighted the deep connection they shared. One of the most notable was the film The Hero, where they worked together on screen once again. Viewers were captivated by the natural chemistry that seemed to transcend acting. It was more than performance. It was a reflection of years of intimacy, understanding, and mutual respect. Yet even these on-screen moments were just a glimpse of the depth of their real-life connection. Behind the cameras, their partnership thrived in quiet, everyday ways, sharing meals, offering advice, celebrating milestones, and simply being present for one another in a world where presence is often a rare commodity. For Sam, the greatest satisfaction wasn't measured in awards or box office numbers. It was found in the life he built with Katharine. In interviews over the years, he often expressed that every professional success felt meaningful only because he had her by his side. Katharine's presence transformed ordinary achievements into shared triumphs, giving them emotional weight that fame alone could never provide. Likewise for Katharine, Sam was not only a partner but a constant source of inspiration. He remained grounded, genuine, and humble, refusing to let the trappings of Hollywood alter his core values. Together, they created a private world of authenticity that allowed both of them to flourish professionally and personally. Over the decades, their love didn't merely endure, it evolved, becoming richer, steadier, and more graceful with each passing year. It was a love that grew in subtle ways, through shared laughter, patient listening, and quiet acts of devotion. Theirs was a partnership that demonstrated how true love is nurtured, not through grand gestures or public declarations, but through consistent care, unwavering respect, and the kind of deep understanding that only time and commitment can bring. In an industry where relationships are often fleeting, the story of Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross stands as a testament to the beauty of enduring love, proving that even in Hollywood, a connection built on trust, patience, and mutual admiration can last a lifetime. Now at 81, Sam Elliott's reflections on love carry a depth that only decades of shared life can provide. His voice, already iconic for its calm authority, takes on a warmth and humility when he speaks of Katharine Ross. There is no hesitation in his words, no doubt, no carefully curated Hollywood persona. What comes through instead is pure gratitude, a heartfelt acknowledgement of a life spent with someone who has been a constant companion, partner, and friend. After more than 40 years together, Sam's perspective on love has matured, revealing truths that are as simple as they are profound. Over 4 decades of marriage, Sam has learned lessons that many only discover after a lifetime. The first, he often says, is that love is not automatic, it's intentional. It's not something that thrives on chemistry or romance alone. It requires conscious effort every single day. Choosing your partner, honoring their presence, and committing to understanding them, even in moments of disagreement, are all part of this ongoing, deliberate process. In a world where relationships can easily falter under external pressures, this intentionality is what separates lasting love from fleeting infatuation. He also emphasizes that relationships survive when both people are willing to grow. Life is unpredictable, full of changes, challenges, and opportunities that test even the strongest bonds. For Sam and Katharine, growth wasn't just about career achievements or personal development. It was about evolving together, learning from each other, and adapting to the inevitable shifts that come with decades of shared life. Each challenge, each success, each quiet day at home contributed to a relationship that was resilient, flexible, and enduring. Loyalty, Sam notes, is built not in grand gestures or dramatic declarations, but in the quiet moments. The simple acts, listening, waiting, offering support without being asked, being present when it matters most, are the true glue that holds a marriage together. These are the moments that build trust and intimacy, that create a foundation so strong it can weather the pressures of fame, distance, and the passage of time. For Sam and Katharine, loyalty was an unspoken promise renewed daily, quietly reinforcing the bond that neither publicity nor adversity could weaken. And perhaps the most powerful truth Sam shares is this: the greatest success in life is finding someone who believes in you. Through the highs and lows, the applause and the silence, Katharine was that person for Sam. She believed in him when roles were scarce, when career paths were uncertain, and when Hollywood's unpredictable nature could have easily created doubt. In return, Sam was a steady source of faith, admiration, and encouragement for Katharine, supporting her dreams and celebrating her achievements as though they were his own. Their marriage stands as living proof that real love does not fade with age, it deepens, strengthens, and transforms into a legacy. Today, their story inspires thousands around the world, reminding us that even in Hollywood, where relationships often break as quickly as scenes are shot, true commitment can exist. Sam Elliott and Katharine Ross created something rare, beautiful, and enduring, a love story not written for fame or headlines, but written through intentional choice, shared growth, unwavering loyalty, and the profound act of believing in one another. This is a love story that transcends Hollywood. It is timeless. It is intentional. It is real.